Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. So yeah, I started playing drums in church like every other Nigerian musician. You know, I started playing in church when I was very little, and as I proceeded in life, I found purpose in music. I saw that of all the things I've tried to do, music is like the only thing that comes to me naturally. I don't have to struggle with it.
Mm.
And I started getting interested in knowing more about music. And I wouldn't say that I really wanted to pursue drumming in the first place, but it came naturally. I didn't have to struggle, with it. And I just had a feeling, or let me say I had an orientation that if it comes that easily, then definitely that's what God wants me to do. So um, that was how the journey started.
Okay, okay. That's good. So ease, considering what comes easily, though you have to build capacity, even if it comes easily, you still have to develop yourself. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
considering
sure.
what comes easy to somebody, yeah, that's very important. So the next question I want to ask you is you mentioned that you're not just a drummer, you are a full-time musician, you're a producer, you're an audio engineer. So what inspired you to diversify your skill set beyond drumming?
Okay, so I'm an analyst. Like I analyze a lot. So I of course you can't be a good analyst if you're not a good observer. So I observe a lot and I analyze a lot. And I did an analysis some years back. I tried to think about and even make a little research on the street now. I mean, there was no Google, there was no social media. So I did like on the street research about some of the drummers, Nigerian drummers that I respect and that I look forward to. And I discovered some things then that, you know, I went to Lagos at the time, some years back. I won't mention any names, but I stumbled into a drummer that I've respected from afar. Like I looked up to him growing up, and the quality of his life, I saw that. I'm not sure. No, not Lagos, Abuja. Sorry, Abuja. So I discovered that I'm not sure I want to have that kind of quality of life. I spent some time with him and definitely struggling. And someone I looked up to, like, oh, this person is in Abuja now, probably playing for the biggest church in Abuja at that time, blah blah blah. And I made up my mind that I'm not going to end up like that. So when I made up my mind like that, the next thing is, so what am I going to do differently if I'm still going to be a drummer? And that was when I began to make some inquiries about how, you know, um, about other things I could learn in the same industry to upsell my skills. Upselling is all about adding more value than the basic, right? So that was well, I started looking forward to that. That was the first thing. The second thing was that I realized that I'm not sure I can fall back. This is what I mean. So at that same time, I was in Abuja. I was working in a company, in an IT company, and I would have to, if you know Abuja very well, Oche is one of our bosses in Abuja. So Oche
I
knows
know
Abuja very
Abuja
well.
very well. I lived in Abuja for about 5 years as well.
Oh, you live now. Oh, great. So if you know this, if you know the name of this area, then you're an OG. This area is called Kurudu.
Yes, now.
Ah, OG, OG. You sabi? So I was living in Kurudu. My office was at Jabi. My church was in Gwarimpa. So imagine that kind of trip on a regular basis. So many of the times I get to work a bit late and I get penalized for it. And I'd be like, come on, I'm not sure I can do this thing. I'm not sure I'm cut out for working a corporate job in Nigeria. I'm not sure I'm cut out for it. So it means if I don't make my music work, I don't have anything to fall back on because I don't want to live a frustrated life. So um, that just solidified my drive that, okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to go about, making sense out of what I claimed to love doing. So that was the beginning of everything. And that was way back 2012. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, when there's a will, they say there'll be a way.
Yeah.
I like that drive, that determination to just do things differently, just go with the norm. And seeing those ahead of you, learning from them, but trying to be better than them. There's nothing wrong with doing that, trying to
Yeah.
push your life forward. So that's cool. The next question I have for you is so what are some of the skills or lessons you've learned as a drummer that have been valuable in your other roles as a producer and audio engineer? So talking about like transferable skills.
Oh, transferable skills. The first skill is coordination. Um, coordination is one of the major um, subconscious, or one of the major things you teach your subconscious while you're learning drumming. Coordination, balance, control. Those are essential skills that every drummer would have had to learn at a point or the other, in one way or the other. So bringing that into what I do, into the other things I started doing, which is audio engineering, music production. It's just like a sixth sense. You just begin to know when there's a balance. Like you, as a drummer, you are likely to identify with balance faster than other people. That's one. In audio engineering now, if you want to go completely technical, I think drums is the instrument that has the largest spectrum of frequencies. For those that don't know what frequencies are, let me make it easy. Low frequencies are bass drum. High frequencies are cymbals. You understand? So drums has the widest range. On the bass drum, you can have as low as, you can hear as low as 40, 50 hertz. And you can also hear as high as 15K. The human ear can only hear between 20 and 20K. So drums covers the entire spectrum, right? So understanding tonality in drums actually helps to understand how to develop a sonic structure as an audio engineer. And of course, the no-brainer, which is timing. As a drummer, timing, bro. If you don't time me as a drummer, then probably you shouldn't be playing drums. that really helps, especially if you're going into music production. So if you're going into music production, you are dealing with time. You are dealing with everything is timing. Everything is timing because you have grids of understanding note values and all of that. Being a drummer makes it easier to understand note values faster than other musicians. So those are transferable, like directly transferable skills that is applicable in real time. Still talking about timing. So I didn't mention that I had my background in electrical electronics engineering. So
wow.
Coming into oh really? So coming into audio engineering, coming into audio engineering just makes it smooth, like combining the skills I've learned as a drummer and then my skills are in electrical electronics engineering, which when I was about rounding up, I took serious interest in digital signal processing. So understanding that, having those confluences of skills really helped to make me learn fast. I mean, if I tell people that I started mixing 2 years ago, like I wasn't mixing before then. I started mixing 2 years ago. Many people will be like, "Oh, really? I thought you've been mixing for so long." No, I haven't. I started mixing seriously just about 2 years ago. But the journey is fast for me because of these other skills I have that I'm applying. The skills of engineering make you learn a lot about how things work in the physics world of things. And knowing physics is knowing everything music, is knowing everything audio engineering. So that really helped. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that answer. The next question I'll ask, guys, I hope you're listening and I hope you're following and we're not losing you. If you have any question, drop it in the chat and we'll see what we can pick later. So can you share some insights into your approach to business within the music industry? What strategies or principles have you found to be the most effective in building your career?
Well, bro, I believe you're not in Nigeria, yeah? You're not currently in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a problem with Nigerian service providers or Nigeria generally, or Africa generally. The problem is so evident that we've even exported the problem. And the problem is called African time. I noticed that if you are on time, and you're not just on time, you are delivering your work properly, chances are that you will have speed in that career. That was what happened to me. When I started when I started my journey of freelancing and recording drums, you can ask any producer that has worked with me. Although now I'm a bit busier, so I don't work that fast. But even though I don't work that fast, I still meet my deadlines. But then I used to work so fast that it's actually unbelievable. You could send me a song right now, and in 2 hours, I've returned the song back to you, and you won't have any complaints. Like I was working so fast because I realized that the Western world, they take time very seriously. So I decided, number one, to take time very seriously. I don't show up late. I don't deliver late. I don't show up unprepared. If I'm not going to come, I will tell you. If I have an issue and I'm not going to be able to do what you want me to do, I'll tell you. I'd rather cancel the gig than not do it on time or not do it properly. I'm a very absolute person. People have sent me jobs to do, and I feel I don't have the proper skill sets to do it. And I'll tell them, I'm sorry, I won't be able to do it the way you want me to do it. I can recommend somebody else. Call Caro. Caro will play this song better than me. I can send you his number. Dami will play this song better than me. Kenzie will mix this song better than me. I'm very sincere in my business. A lot of people say that it's not a proper business model, but it's working for me. I'm very sincere. I'm very direct, and I try my best to be excellent. I don't try to be perfect, because I know that perfection is a mirage. Can you help me mute that person?
Yeah, I'm looking for the person. Yeah, done.
Yeah. So perfection is a mirage. Perfection is not existent. That's the truth. Perfection is not existent, but excellence is a requirement. So that's where I do my stuff. I know I can't be perfect, but I can be excellent. Excellent means that to my best knowledge, to the best of my ability, I did it well. And I do that every single time you ask me to do something for you, even if you're not paying me my worth. Even if you're not paying me my worth, every time I do something for anyone, no matter how little, no matter how big, I do it as if my life depends on it, using the biblical principle that do it as unto the Lord, right? So that is how I operate my business. And I can tell you that it's one of the pluses for most returning customers I have. They'll be like, oh, they trust that whatever they put in my hands is going to work great. So that's just it.
Wow, that's amazing. Nuggets for building business in the music industry. Talked about time, punctuality, and that just shows you that you respect people. And when you respect people, they say it's reciprocal.
Yeah.
Talked about integrity, building trust, and working to achieve excellence. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's the kind of mindset that we need to begin to develop if we're going to become more than who we are. We need to begin to build capacity in those kind of mindsets. I like that. Thank you for sharing that. The next question I want to ask you is, what advice would you give to aspiring drummers, and what advice would you give to aspiring drummers or musicians who are looking to expand their skill set and build successful career in the music industry?
The first thing I would say is that don't think you are special. You're not. There are there are hundreds of thousands of people as good as you are. If you want to be special, add more skills. Speciality is not, or let me say, peculiarity is not about. It's not about you. It's about what you are offering. What value are you bringing? Like the table conversation is, what are you bringing to the table? You know. So because of that, I realized, like, bro, let's even analyze it. Off your head, if you can think of the 10 most successful songs in history, I can bet you that not one of those songs has a drum shop inside of it. That is even if all those songs were even recorded live. So even if they were recorded live, not one of them has a crazy chop. So that brings me to something else that, okay, if the chops are not highly celebrated in the real world, because the real world is industry, is money. So forget about preferences, or forget about it's money. If you're not making money for the brand, you're just wasting time.
Yeah.
So if chops are not so celebrated, then what is? So I realized that the things that are celebrated are things like understanding music, knowing what should be and knowing what should not be. If you bring a song to me now, my goat mode, right, is my ability to tell you what to remove in the song to make the song from good to great. You know, what makes me the go-to drummer or the go-to musician, or is the ability to know how to make it better without necessarily taking a lot from it or adding a lot to it. Do you understand? So I'm saying that so that drummers can understand that it is not just, it is important to, of course, to work very hard to, you know, learn all those things. I mean, all of us do it, but you need to know that there's a bigger picture, and you need to find a way to make sure you fit into that bigger picture. So if, like now, my skill as a music director, as an event manager, as an event producer, as a music producer, even as a video editor, as an audio engineer, see all those skills I gathered. You now called me to play drums to your program or to come and record drums for you. Do you think I would record the drums the way somebody that doesn't have those skills would? No, I wouldn't. Because there are many processes I will be thinking of at the same time.
Yeah.
From the way I would tune the drums, from the way I would position the microphones, even though I'm not the recording engineer, from the way I would play, from the way I'm going to pay attention to certain things, it will make the difference from somebody that doesn't understand where the entire project is going to. I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense, but it's not like, okay, come and learn this skill. So that, no, the idea is that become this person, become a valuable person for every project that you're called for. And if that value can be increased by learning the keyboard, for example, if I know how to play I know how to play the keyboard quite all right. If I know how to play the keyboard, I know how to think like a keyboard player to an extent. So I could complement the keyboard player better. If I understand how the bass works, I know how to complement the bass player better. If I understand how vocals are arranged, I will know how to use my cymbals in a way that it will not conflict with the vocals in certain places. So these are very surgical skill sets that are very little, but you won't learn them by reading a book or watching a video. You will learn them by adding other skills to yourself, and then you become this person that is valuable across board. That is the way I approach it. Well,
that's amazing.
I don't know if that is complicated, but
yeah,
I hope I was able to say it in a simple way.
Yeah. And I'm recording this, so everybody's going to get the playback so they can listen to it again. And if they didn't catch it the first time, they'll catch it the second time. I'll make this next question my last question because we're running out of time, and time is money, they say. So how do you stay motivated? You know, it's quite challenging sometimes in this industry. So how do you stay motivated and continue to evolve as a musician or a businessman, entrepreneur? Or what are the particular sources of inspiration or mentors that has influenced your journey so far?
Thank you for that question. I remember 2017, I was in Lagos for a conference of drummers, and one man I respect so much, Mr. Ochuko Abua, he came to speak to us. He's an elder, right? And Mr. Ochuko said something I will never forget. He said, if your closest friends are drummers like you will fail. Bro, I can never forget.
Wow.
Thank God this thing is going online. You can confirm from him. He said it, 2017. The church is at Foursquare, Yaba. I can never forget it. He said, if your closest drummers are drummers like, if your closest friends are drummers you. You will fail. You won't make it. And come to think of it, bro, you understand what I'm saying better. Because let me give you the logical explanation to that. Because you have other friends that are in other fields, you will see possibilities outside of your own realm. You will see that there's more to life.
Yeah.
I have a big brother who is a medical doctor. And he's the one that is teaching me how to invest in stocks, for example.
Mm.
No musician has ever discussed stock with me in my life. No. I have someone else who is a businessman. He's the one that is always telling me to risk everything for something I believe in. Pushed me to my limits, like literally pushed me to my limits, and forced me to buy a car, for example, that I couldn't really afford. Gave me a principle behind that if you buy this car, you will be forced to work hard to be able to afford the car. I don't know if you understand. It looked crazy, but it worked because it's something that has done. No musician will ever have that kind of discussion with me. That is the truth. If I check my list of musicians, the ones that are very close to me, that are my friends, when we talk, we don't talk music, bro. We don't talk about music, we talk about life. We talk about other important things apart from music. And that actually helps in your perception of the real life there, because you will find yourself being a touring musician going all over the world, and you come back home, you retire with nothing because all your friends are fellow musicians like you. Once you go to London, the first place you go to is a store to go and buy shoes. You buy shirts and all of that, and but assuming you have a friend that is working corporate, that has a retirement plan, can tell you that, bro, as I'm working corporate and I have a retirement plan, you need to have a retirement plan too. Those kind of conversations can come up because they are not in your field. They have a wider understanding of life outside of your field. Let me tell you this fact, that the music industry, the music part of the music industry is just 10%. And it is that 10% that we musicians are sharing.
I'm focusing on, yeah.
That's the lowest on the food chain. The real money in the music industry, the smallest part of the real money is the one going to the musicians. That is the smallest part. That is the truth. The musicians are below the food chain in the music industry. That is the only reason why you have a record label, they have an artist. They'll call the artist for a show. I'm talking Nigerian standard now. They call the artist. The record label takes a chunk of the percentage. The artist takes the next chunk. And then the remaining crumbs, they share to the musicians. And then boys will now come online and be complaining. That's just the way it is. We can't change that. That is the truth. It is like that on every level. It's like that on every level. Forget it. Just that the crumbs are higher in some in some cases. It is still crumbs compared to the real money happening in the industry. So that is why you need to know how real world really operates outside of the music world, so that you can bring that knowledge into your operations in the music industry and find your way around making it better than you currently are.
Wow, that was deep.
I hope I answered the question.
That one was very deep. That one's for me too. So I'm going to. Well, I think we're out of time. The recording will still stop. So if you have any questions, guys, the chat will still be open. You can drop it in the.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I'm an 18-year-old drummer playing in church for just half of minimum wage a month. My questions are: how were you able to scale up from playing in church to here? Okay, so that first question, I don't think I have. The only time I was ever on church salary was when that time I told you I went to Abuja, and it wasn't much. It was really crazy. It's just to get by, just for me to have transport to go to church and back. That was it. I've never really had proper church employment. I personally don't believe in it. It's just a personal thing. I have friends, my friends in church, they are getting paid, and that's fine. But I don't believe in it. I don't. At least in Nigeria, I don't know how it works in other countries. So I wouldn't say I was ever in church as getting paid. And I mean, at the age of 18, you are receiving salary as a drummer. You are lucky. When I was 18, what was I doing? So calm down, don't rush. You are still young. But what I would just advise is that the reason why I don't subscribe to the church thing is majorly because I feel it is limiting, because there's some opportunities that will come your way that you not be like, you cannot leave because of church. And you're already limiting the possibilities or the potential of your career, because this career needs to be on the move. You cannot stay in one place and think good things will come and meet you there. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. So that's what I'm going to advise, that try and be free. Whatever you can do, free. Is playing in church a sustainable business model, or we have to get into production and arranging? I personally do not know any full-time church musician in Nigeria that is doing so well. Sure. The ones that are my friends that are doing well, they are doing a lot of other things. There are some of them that are busy on YouTube. Some of them are also producers and arrangers, and they have other gigs that they do. But how much is offering now? How much will they pay you, to make you live a solid life? Except there are other things in the church that the church is paying you for. Maybe you're doing some other things in the church, but a full-time musician in the church, I'm not sure, but I do not think that it is so sustainable in Nigeria at the moment. Maybe things are going to change next year. Who knows? At the moment, on the large scale, I doubt if it is sustainable. So I advise that there's nothing wrong. Add to your skills. You are very young. At 18, within 2 years, you can become a crazy producer because your mind is still young. It's easy for you to learn. So don't hold back. Would you suggest any business idea or ventures that could help upcoming drummers to scale up and get resources? Like I said the other time, you are not special. Don't think you are. You are just another regular guy that needs to survive. So you have to do what you can do to survive. So if it means even learning skills that are not necessarily inside the music industry, no wala, if you feel you're cut out for it. I have a lot of drummers that do a lot of other things. A lot. If I start counting, like a lot. My videographer is a drummer. My photographer is a drummer. I used to have a tailor that used to be a drummer. That is a drummer. I mean, he used to be my tailor. And a lot of other things. A lot. So don't hold back, please. You are still young, so gather as much as you can. Yeah.
That's cool. The last question, and we'll call it a day. That's the last question. That's from Oche, actually.
Okay.
Can you see it?
I wanted to ask if there are any materials you could recommend for someone who wanted to begin the sound engineering journey. Or do you run? I don't run a mentorship class, Oche. Oche, you're a badass. What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Oche is a crazy God. Anyways, maybe he's not asking the question for himself. I don't run a mentorship class right now because of my workload. I've not balanced up my workload. I have a lot of things I'm doing, so I can't add mentorship to it right now. And that's number two. I'm a terrible teacher. I don't really know how to teach very well. So I need to learn how to teach before I start. So what I did, or what I'm doing, is people make a mistake of doing numerous YouTube videos. I don't do that. So I study a person part-time. So there was a time, like when I started, I was studying Yodnevo. Yodnevo did a lot of tutorials for waves. So I took my time to study as many Yodnevo videos as possible. I focused on Yodnevo. And I got a lot of basic concepts from Yodnevo. Then there was a time I was studying Yosh. I bought his course. I took my time to study that course. That was 2 years ago. And then last year, I studied John Blas. I'm still studying John Blas. So that is where I do it. I study one engineer per time. But I generally read about engineering just to know the concepts. But for the approach of the work itself, I study one person per time. I don't go about just stumbling on YouTube videos, so that I won't be confused. That's just me. Some other people probably have other ways of learning, but for me, that is how it works for me.
Well, that answers it, I guess. Yeah, and you've
Mm.
mentioned some names, so I'm sure in the recording he will be able to pick those names, look for them, you know.
Yes, your Neville, John Yosh, John Blas. These are people that I actually have taken my time to study, and I'm still studying them actually, especially John Blas currently.
All right, that will bring us to the end of this session. Thank you so much for
Thank you, bro.
those nuggets. They're powerful, and I hope the community will listen to it, digest it, adopt it, adapt it, apply it, and get the results for themselves as well. And
I hope so.
becomes more than who they think they are right now. So thank you for your time. God bless.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you.
Thank you everybody that came around. Thank you. And, we have
Thank you very much.